Hello and welcome to another edition of Issues with Jide. Here we talk about actions and inactions of those who shape our political and national landscape and how these impact us positively or otherwise. I'm Ibrahim Shita. Today on the show, Kanu goes to Supreme Court, accuses appeal courts of miscarriage of justice. Also, the late Ifeanyi Adeleke's Nanny may be charged with negligence. And later on the show, Governor Ortom snubs former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, says Obi has capacity to make things work. We have joining me from all the way from Anambra is, well, a very beautiful one. The Okulora of Enugu in Aguleri, Anambra, the mouthpiece of the people. BKO, it's good to have you.
Yes, the respected traditional ruler of Eri Kingdom, Enugu Aguleri, Eze Chukwemeka the 31st, the 34th. Bless me with a chieftaincy title today. The chieftaincy title is Okulora, which means the mouthpiece of the people. I'm happy that the way I speak for our people, the way I speak the truth to power, the way I bring the pains of our people to the hearing of people in government has attracted the attention and recognition of our people in far away Enugu Aguleri. That is the Eri Kingdom. That is the oldest throne in the whole of Igbo land.
Wow.
Because Eri Kingdom is actually regarded as the cradle of Igbo land, Igbo people, which means that is the source, the origin of the Igbo people. So for the traditional ruler of that kingdom, the oldest throne in the whole of the Southeast, to give me the traditional title of mouthpiece of the people, Okuluora, is something that I'm heavily indebted, not just to God, but to our good people in Anambra State. And it shows that in our country, we remain one, and if we continue to give our best and work for the unity of our country, the reward can come from anywhere. As you can see, these are feathers of the eagle.
Absolutely.
And I have all the other things that you expect, all the other ensembles, including I have my staff, my offer, I have it, and as you can see, look at it, wearing it proudly.
Amazing.
The traditional ruler put it on my neck. So I'm a proud traditional title holder from Enugu Aguleri.
Okulora of Enugu in
Anambra State.
Anambra State. Right, beautiful.
Yes,
so
I'm
it's
the Okulora.
Yeah.
The mouthpiece of the people.
Right. Congratulations.
And when the traditional ruler announced it, it was with a tremendous ovation from the people present, which means they are happy with their traditional ruler for giving me this title.
Absolutely.
And
shows that
I'm really, really very grateful.
Yeah,
I say a big thank you to all our fans everywhere. Fans of Issues with Jide, fans of Journalists Hangout, for the recognition that I continue to get for doing my work.
We say congratulations to you, the team of Issues with Jide. They're so happy and excited, watching you in that regalia. Congratulations to you, PK. So let's get down to the brass tack for today's topics. Okay. Let's start from Nnamdi Kanu, all the way from the east. The detained leader of the proscribed IPOP group has asked the Supreme Court to quash the ruling of the Court of Appeal, which granted a stay of execution of its order, discharging him of the terrorism charges filed against him by the federal government. How do you read this emerging development, BKO?
Actually, I wasn't expecting the Court of Appeal to set aside its own, not set aside, to stay the execution of his own judgment, because his judgment was carefully considered. So why would you then stand in the way of the execution of your own judgment? These are some of the things that the judiciary does to itself that prompt many of our people to be worried for the judiciary. The appeal court earlier in the month of October gave a ruling that the way Nnamdi Kanu, who was being tried for treasonable felony and terrorism, was brought into our country, was in contravention of both local and international laws. And for that reason, the appeal court went ahead to to quash the charges brought against Kanu, for which he was being tried by the Federal High Court, Justice Binta Murtala Yaku. After the judgment, naturally, after the judgment, the government was worried, and the government didn't exactly know what to do, whether to simply appeal the judgment or release Nnamdi Kanu the way the way the appeal court had directed. But instead of appealing to the Supreme Court, which Kanu's lawyers will have opposed, Kanu's lawyers will have asked for his release more than anything, the Attorney General, who had first argued that Kanu was acquitted, was not discharged, decided to approach the same Federal Court of Appeal that released Nnamdi Kanu and asked for a stay of his own judgment. As far as Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers are concerned, what the appeal court did in respect of his own judgment amounted to shaming the judiciary, because it amounted, in their own views, to setting aside his own judgment even before the apex court of the land had entertained the matter. You know, as far as they were concerned, the appeal court erred in law by granting a stay of execution of his judgment in respect of a criminal matter. They also argued that the appeal court did not evaluate the objection of Kanu's lawyers to the application brought before the court asking for a stay of the execution of that judgment before he took the decision to stay the execution of his own judgment. So, as far as they are concerned, it amounted to what the appeal court did amounted to overruling itself, giving a judgment, and then by its own self overruling itself, setting aside its own judgment. That's what this amounts to Kanu's lawyers, and they have then decided to approach the Supreme Court to set aside that decision of the appeal court, staying the execution of a judgment that it freely gave. So this is where we are on this matter. And some days back, our protests in a part of the Southeast, in which IPOB members actually threatened that there will not be an election in the Southeast if Kanu was not released. This whole matter, just as some Southeast governors said the other day, and I'm in agreement with them, that this matter is not beyond a political solution. It's not beyond a political solution at this stage. There are many benefits that could come from a political solution on this matter. I know that the government would not want to release Nnamdi Kanu at this stage, but they have not handled the judicial matter well. And the law is the law. If you do not build your case properly, then your case will crumble. It's like somebody building a house. If you do not build a house on a good foundation, of course, the house will give way in no time. So, from the legal standpoint, the case that they brought against Kanu was not watertight, because to bring somebody from Kenya in the way that they have done, that person needed to go through an extradition trial. Kanu did not go through an extradition trial. He was smuggled into Nigeria in a manner that breached his fundamental human rights. And his lawyers simply argued, citing both local and international laws. And the laws of Nigeria do not extend beyond the borders of our country. So you can't go to another country and simply drag a man out of the country and bring him here for trial. It negates local and international law. And it was on the basis of that the appeal court decided to let him go. And don't also forget, even when they said that he installed a transmitter somewhere in the Southeast to broadcast anti-Nigerian messages and all that, his lawyers argued that if indeed that was the case, then the court in Abuja does not have jurisdiction over something that happened, over an offense that was committed in the Southeast. So, on the from the judicial point of view, they have the Federal Ministry of Justice, the Attorney General and his team have done a shoddy job, and no one can blame the appeal court for dismissing the matter in the way that it has done. And now we wait to see how the Supreme Court will respond to this matter. Ozekome, Kanu's lawyer, decided to go to the Supreme Court ahead of everyone. Now we'll see how the Supreme Court will handle this matter.
Yeah, so because of our time, I have to rush. But then let me quickly take this comment before I move on. Fabian Accuses says, setting Nnamdi Kanu free during this period of crisis in Nigeria will further aggravate the problem. The brainwashed followers have caused mayhem in his absence. Imagine what they would do if he's stressed. And Olatunji Atonda says, Fabian, you're on point. Nnamdi Kanu should remain in custody till after the general elections. But we have to quickly raise to the next topic because of our time. Let's talk about the tragic incident that occurred in the home of the popular musician, Davido. The autopsy has actually revealed that the little boy drowned in their pool. The concern for me here is, shouldn't there be the need to promulgate laws on swimming pools to protect children?
Yes, I think that some parents are simply careless. The Banji's son, Daniel, died in similar circumstances. No one is saying that you should not put a swimming pool in your house. But if you know you have toddlers or a toddler in your house, you have to put safeguards. I've seen videos and I've seen pictures of swimming pools inside people's homes in the US, in the UK, homes where children are present. And I've seen the safeguards that they installed, that they put around the swimming pool to ensure that the children cannot have access to it, even if their parents were not around, even if their minders, their nannies, and the rest of them were not around. But to leave a swimming pool open when you know you have a toddler or toddlers in your house is just not right. I don't want to use words that will merely rub salt upon injury. I am particularly pained that this has happened to Davido and his partner, Chioma Roland. But the truth has to be told. There are many people who have so much money, but it has not pleased God to give them children of their own. So those who are privileged to have children, they have to value these children and do whatever is humanly possible to ensure that these children do not come to any harm. Accidents can happen, but this kind of accidents smacks of negligence. And that's why when the police are saying that it is possible to put Chioma's nanny and Chioma's cook, I mean, if Adeleke's nanny and his cook on trial for negligence, I think I agree. Because for a boy just 3 years old, somebody has to be on him. Somebody has to take good care of him. Somebody is paid to look after the children. Where were you when this boy strayed towards the pool and ended up drowning? Where were you, for God's sake? Were you simply attending to your phones? Many of our people today behave like if they do not get hold of their phones for 2 minutes that they are going to drop dead. I mean, you can't allow this to happen. I can tell you that in other countries of the world, even Davido himself will have been brought into custody to answer questions. Because negligence is an actionable offense. It is something for which you can be put on trial. So if they are saying now that it is possible to put them on trial, especially when the autopsy has shown that this boy drowned, then so be it. So that other people can learn from the experience. How many little boys and girls are we going to lose because some people are negligent, some people didn't take good care of them, some people didn't pay attention to them as the children were roaming around the home, because some people didn't put safeguards around their swimming pools? You want to have a swimming pool? Yes, if it's just for you, adults, it's understandable. But if children live with you in the home, underage children as young as 3 years, then you must put safeguards there. And Davido has the money to put those safeguards. This sort of thing shouldn't be happening. It's extremely painful. People are traumatized that this happened to this little boy. But we should be able to learn from what has happened. Rich people who are still raising children should not just put swimming pools in their homes unless they are prepared to put the safeguards that will ensure that they can't be accessed easily by the kids in their homes. Only those who can swim out of danger if they get into the pool, should have access to the swimming pool. And I hope that even Davido will learn an exemplary lesson from this, because he's going to get married to Chioma next year. They will raise other children. Is he going to leave the swimming pool open like that? He shouldn't leave the swimming pool open. It has to be protected, safeguarded against straying children, and even their own livestock and their pets. This is the way it should be.
So Mark Oyaide says, if it's not a swimming pool, it could be gas cooker or a naked wire. The parents or guardians have to be vigilant, especially with the toddlers. I pray fine souls continues to rest in peace. Well, Noel Oyedika Opala says, Babajide is absolutely spot on. It is just pure negligence. Fabian Akaize also says, there should be investigations on father, mother, employer, swimming pool, contractor, security, and it should be a fair trial. The staff should not be oppressed because they are poor. Just a very quick word to that.
Fabian can be very controversial at times. I'm sure Davido's domestic aids are so well paid. And you do not expect Davido and his partner to always take their son with them everywhere they are going. You know, I have my kids at home now. Why didn't I bring them to Aguleri? But if you have aids, 8 of them, between 8 of them, they should be able to look after that boy and ensure that this kind of death does not come to that boy. Nobody, if they put some of them on trial, it won't amount to oppressing them. If the parents are not home, they should take care of the children. That's what they are paid to do. I mean, Fabian has to understand these things. They are paid to protect the children, the child. They are paid to look after the child. Where were they? Where were they? So this is the question.
Yeah.
Davido was not at home. So he can't take the boy with him everywhere he goes. That's why he has aides. So what were those aides doing? I'm telling you, if it was in the US, even all 8 of them would still be in detention by now. All 8. You have 8 aides. 8 aides. And between the 8 of them, they didn't see when this boy strayed into the swimming pool. I can't explain this.
Yeah. All right, BK, let's move on to our very last topic, and this is political. Politics, rather. The PDP crisis seems like it's never going to come to an end anytime soon. We know Governor Wike has taken a stand. Governor Ikpeazu, Governor Makinde, Ogwanye, and Governor Ortom are playing on his side. But for Governor Ortom to publicly rate Peter Obi over Atiku as someone with more capacity than their own presidential candidate of his own party says a lot, doesn't it, BKO?
They are not ready to vote for Atiku. Ortom has said that he has withdrawn his support for Atiku. Elders in Benue State, believed to be close to loyal to Governor Ortom, have also said that they are not going to vote for Atiku. So it's no longer in doubt that Ortom is not going to work for Atiku. So at this stage, Ortom is shopping for a presidential candidate outside of the presidential candidate of his own party. Let's not deceive ourselves. And I've said before that it doesn't look like the quarrel between Nyesom Wike and other governors with Ayu, the national chairman of the party, whom they have told to resign and insists he will not resign, will end soon. They are not prepared to let this matter go. As long as Ayu insists that he will remain in office, they are not going to back down. They are most likely going to work for someone else. And you've also had Governor Makinde of Oyo State saying that he will not support Atiku unless their demands are met. So in my view, that matter, the Wike matter, is not a matter that will be resolved at all. They are probably, in my view, they will go into that election with the quarrel still on, because you don't expect them to drop Ayu at this stage. The closer and closer we get to the election, the more difficult it becomes for the PDP to drop its national chairman and replace him with someone else. So I think at this stage, they have made up their minds that whatever Wike wants to do, let him do. They will continue to stand by Ayu. And because of the way Atiku has seemingly continued to back Ayu, those governors are not going to give Atiku their support unless something miraculous happens in the days leading to the election. But Ortom has already come out that he will not support Atiku, that he has withdrawn his support for Atiku. Wike still behaves like it's still possible for peace to be achieved, but I doubt it. I doubt if Wike himself will work for Atiku. I am convinced that Wike will work against Atiku in that election, and it will mortally hurt the PDP if it does not get the support of at least 5 governors. How many governors have they got? If half of the governors they have refuse to work for them, how is Atiku going to win the election? So this is the thing. They do not want to back down. As far as they are concerned, Wike always thinks that he must have his way, but this time around they don't want him to have his way. But it's at a big cost to the party and to the candidates of the party. So the states that we are talking about are traditionally strongholds of the PDP. But if you don't get substantial votes from your traditional strongholds, and with Obi waxing really strong in the places that used to be the hunting ground of the PDP, then it means that this election will be extremely difficult for Atiku to win. This is the thing.
Yeah. So let me take this comment from Tony Goodman. It says, Jide, do you think he's asking a question?
Governor.
Yeah. Land on your point.
The Benue governor. Yeah, the Benue governor is saying that in terms of his passion for Nigeria, in terms of his desire for change, in terms of his ability to reach out to people, in terms best. Obi is the best. So that means he thinks that Obi is somebody that should get his support. And his supporters are reading what he's saying. So in the end, his own supporters may be looking to give Obi their votes. And that way, they are nibbling away at the strength of the PDP.
But he said something before his very last statement, his very last outing with Peter Obi, where he said that maybe Obi has done well. Maybe when he went to visit those who are affected by the flood or something, he said he would have actually thrown his support, his weight behind Peter Obi, if not for the fact that he's not a member of his party. So do you not see it differently, that it might not exactly be supporting Peter Obi?
No. See. Okay, now, first things first. Before, at the time when Obi visited Benue to commiserate with them over the flooding problem, Governor Ortom had not declared that he would not support Obi. It was after that visit, that he would not support Atiku. It was after that visit that Atiku said something, and the video went viral where he claimed that he fought with Governor Ortom for labeling Fulanis as bandits and all that. Governor Ortom responded to that by totally withdrawing support for him. So in terms of the sequence of events, the Obi visit came first. At that time, Atiku had not offended him. He had not said something that angered him. So now that Atiku has said something that angered him, he has now rephrased what he said earlier.
Yeah.
He has updated what he said earlier by saying, okay, that amongst the people contesting, I think that this person is more passionate for our country and this person deserves to be president. So it's just a matter of a few weeks between those events. So in politics, so many things can change in just a matter of hours.
Right.
That's the nature of politics.
Right. So looking at what...
You take a misstep, your opponent... Okay,
land on your point, Bikio.
You make a mistake, your opponent capitalizes on it. It doesn't take so long to make a mistake. But when you make a mistake in politics, the repercussion can be grave.
Can be grave. Well,
Can be really grave. Yeah.
if you former Vice President Atiku Abubakar was on a radio program, a Hausa radio program, I think Voice of America House also, where he was asked, certain questions about Governor Wike, his stance and his outings, his proclamations and all that. And he said that he has moved on, that it's a non-issue, that they can't change the leadership of the party at this auspicious moment. So looking at it with, splicing it with Mark Oyaide's comment, I'm not sure whether I can find it. It says, I can't find it, but he was saying something like, is Atiku sure that he really wants to win this election, going to, the 2023 presidential election with the House divided against him itself?
Honestly, I don't know what he's thinking. Maybe he thinks that he will win most of the states of the North. But when you look at his performance in the last few elections, he's always done better in the South than in the North. So that's why he should take the votes from the South seriously. But he could think that because Buhari is not on the ballot, therefore the votes of the far North will.
BKO, we lost you momentarily. Are you back?
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. We lost you momentarily.
Let's go, Ibrahim. Let's go. Oh. Yes, yeah. I say if I were him, I won't be too sure. I will try my best to retain my old strongholds.
Okay.
But I don't know how he's thinking.
Right. Okay. So Sulaiman Adegoke Lawal says Ortom going with Peter Obi would cost him a senatorial bid. The fractured situation within the opposition party might stealthily send the country into a one-party state, because I don't see Obi winning the poll. How do you react to that?
We can't have a one-party state. Even when the PDP dominated politics in our country so much that 2/3 of the Nigerian states were being won by them, and more than 2/3 of the National Assembly seats were being won by them, we still didn't have a one-party state. What you have is some elections will come, the opposition party will win more states, more seats, and narrow the gap. We are not going to become a one-party state. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, so BKO, it's time for us to go. Let me just take one or two, because there are a lot of congratulatory messages to you here. This person saying, BKO, Adegoke Lawal says, BKO is one person TVC should hold tight and celebrate him more than anything else, because he endeared many of us to the media. Tony Goodman says, congratulations on your title. I'm inviting you for a chieftaincy title in Ezeigbo, title of Ezeigbo 1 of Jikoi in Abuja. This is also add to the one you already had, from your own hometown. Is it Eki or something?
Yes. Ekenade. Omatata.
Yeah, Omatata. Yeah, that's it. So would you be...
I just thank God.
Congratulations, BKO.
I just thank God for the opportunity. I had rejected some attempts to give me traditional title, even in Yoruba land until now. But I just felt that this honor from the East is very symbolic.
Absolutely.
Coming from the oldest throne in the East. I just told myself that, look, this is honor too big and too significant to reject. You know. Yeah, I am.
Congratulations.
I'm
Congratulations.
still in Aguleri. You know, as you can see, there was a reception for me
Wow.
in the home of one of the big princes of the town. That's where I am. I mean, I'm taking in the fresh air from Chief Ekwo's country home.
Country home.
You know, it's a day
Right.
of joy, really. The drumming, the
Absolutely.
dancing, and all that. It's the memory will live with me forever. As soon as I stepped in here,
Yeah.
people were calling my name, and I'm like, oh. So as far as these places, they know me. They know me. You
Right.
know,
Right. Right.
it's
Absolutely.
really a thing of joy for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, because of our time, that's our show for today's edition of Issues with Jide. Special thanks to you, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju, the Okulora of Enugu in Aguleri, Anambra, for your insightful analysis as
No
always.
Guaguleri, not in, not
Oh,
in. Is
oh, okay.
you are getting it
Okulora
wrong.
of Enugu Aguleri.
No Guaguleri.
That's it. That's it.
Yes, not
So let me take it
not
properly.
Enugu of.
Okulora of Enugu Aguleri
Yes,
of Anambra State. That's the mouthpiece of the people, as always.
yes, yes,
Congratulations once
yes.
again.
That's what it means.
All
Thank
right.
you. We'll do this again. Maybe it's in
Absolutely.
your hometown that I'll take my next title.
Most definitely, we'll welcome you. We'll welcome you. That's our show for today. Thank you so much for watching. You can see the program again anytime by subscribing to our YouTube channel, TVC News Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button to get the latest information. You can also follow us on our social media platforms at TVC News NG. I'm Ibrahim Sheita. Ibrahim, on behalf of the rest of the team, we'll see you next edition. Bye-bye now.